In the opening sequence, we can see sand moving and the symbiote crawling across the webbing, referencing two of the three villains. However, Harry also has a subtle nod. The webbing briefly turns green when footage from the previous film is shown. Likewise, when the scene featuring MJ from the end of Spider-Man 2 appears, the webbing turns golden. The different newspapers showing that people love Spider-Man may be due to the fact that he saved a baby from a fire, something all the papers highlight in their articles. There are several references throughout the movie suggesting that Peter is still struggling financially, such as the fact that he can only afford the ring because the store offers a layaway plan. While watching the play, Peter quietly repeats the dialogue under his breath. This suggests that he has seen the performance several times, unlike in the previous film, where his role as Spider-Man left him with no time for such things. This scene shows that he has finally achieved a balance between both sides of his life. In this shot, we can see three goblin masks, one from the first film, Harry's mask, and another that appears to be a slight redesign of the original, one that many believe is meant to represent the Hobgoblin's mask. When we see Harry's glider in this scene, we can notice that it has a kind of screen right in the middle, which may serve as a guide for Harry, displaying stabilizers and other functions of the board while he's using it. Peter is still using the helmet with the label torn off from the previous movie. In this shot, we can notice that Harry doesn't have 2, but 5 retractable blades on his glider. If we play this shot in slow motion, we can see the sword piercing through its own sheath while emitting a green glow. As we discussed in the video about the first movie, Oscorp was developing nanotechnology, so it's possible that the sword is powered by that same technology. This would also explain why the retractable blades on the forearms remain so discreet when not in use, likely relying on nanotechnology as well. If we pay close attention to the sword's impacts on metallic surfaces, we can see that they appear to partially disintegrate the material, leaving behind a green halo after each strike. From this, we can infer that a direct stab from the sword would cause truly lethal and severe damage to Peter. If we play this shot in slow motion, we can better see the pumpkin bomb in its retracted mode before being launched into Harry's hand. When Peter is attacked by the flying blades, one of them cuts his leg. If we watch the scene in slow motion, we can see that the wound is actually quite severe, judging by the amount of blood. While Harry is being operated on, we can see that Peter is watching from the doctor's changing room rather than from the hallway. This could suggest that he snuck in through the changing room's window in order to be there and see his friend. In this shot, we can see a resemblance to one of the panels from The Amazing Spider-Man number 4, the comic in which Sandman made his debut. When Spider-Man saves Gwen, at normal speed it seems as if he doesn't reach her before the rock hits, creating a moment of tension that is quickly relieved in the next shot. However, if we watch the scene in slow motion, we can see that Spider-Man does grab her in time and both emerge unharmed. Spider-Man saving Gwen from a fall could also be a reference to Gwen's death in the comics, where Spider-Man tries to save her from a fall but she dies instantly. In this shot, we can see the front page of the Daily Bugle from the previous movie. In fact, in Spider-Man 2 we even see how that front page is put together. When Eddie enters the Bugle, we can see 2 front pages in the background, one referencing the Statue of Liberty, possibly tied to its 100th anniversary in 1986, and another about the infamous killer Charles Manson. During the development of the following scene, we can see several Daily Bugle front pages from the first movie hanging on the wall in the background. Well, we all know who this gentleman is. When Harry is discharged from the hospital, he's wearing clothes similar to the ones he wore in Spider-Man 2002. This visually suggests that, in a way, Harry has returned to who he was at the beginning of that movie. Among the signs people hold up for Spider-Man, one asks whether there is a Spider-Woman, and another calls for Spider-Man to be president. In the comics, Spider-Woman is a real character, and there is indeed a version of Spider-Man in the multiverse who becomes president. When the police open fire on Sandman, we can see the windows behind him being shattered by the gunshots. On the inside of the truck door that Sandman robs, you can read the phrase, "Hold-ups don't just happen, they're planned." When Spider-Man thrusts his arm through Sandman, it's a reference to their very first encounter in the comics. As we've seen in videos about the previous films, Bruce Campbell always makes a cameo, and this time is no exception. For those who may not know him, he's the star of the Evil Dead franchise, which was also directed by Sam Raimi. The music played by the violinist is the same piece from the musical that MJ was fired from. When Peter cleans the ring, we can notice the spider bite on his hand. On the shelf in Peter's room, we can see the photo he took of MJ in the first movie. When Peter has a nightmare while being possessed by the black suit and then wakes up in front of a building, the scene is taken from, and inspired by, how the storyline was adapted in the 1990s animated series. When Spider-Man smashes Sandman's face against the train, if the scene is played in slow motion you can see one of the villain's teeth flying out. In another shot, when a metal pipe from the train hits Sandman, it's clear that he's actually missing that tooth. When this scene, Peter closes the balcony doors because the noise of the city bothers him. This is because the symbiote, which is possessing Peter at that moment, is vulnerable to sound. When MJ decides to visit Harry after leaving work, we can see that the street name is framed in such a way that it partially reads Har. When Harry and Peter talk about MJ at the cafe, the name of the street visible in the background is Jane, which is MJ's middle name, Mary Jane. The knife Harry uses to stab Peter is the same one he intended to kill him with in Spider-Man 2, before discovering that he was Peter. When Peter throws the pumpkin bomb at Harry, if the scene is viewed in slow motion, you can see Harry's body being hurled across the room. When Peter confronts Eddie at the Daily Bugle, the newspaper front pages from the first movie can be seen in the background. When Peter throws the evidence of the photomontage onto Eddie's desk, we can notice two things. Eddie has a photo of Gwen, and we can also see the details that revealed the photo was edited, such as the incorrect proportions of Spider-Man's leg and the black suit having red lighting highlights. On the Daily Bugle front page where they apologize to Spider-Man, we can read that it's not just an editorial apology, but one written in Jameson's own words. The article even includes a small joke, in which Jameson says that photographing Spider-Man solely with the intention of making him look like a criminal is not a policy of the Daily Bugle. In Dr. Connor's lab, we can see a lizard skeleton in the background, a reference to his alter ego in the comics. Just like with the ring, Peter manages to buy new clothes because they're on sale, reinforcing the idea that he's not in a good financial situation. It's quite likely that Peter knows how to play the piano because Aunt May taught him. This is suggested by the fact that Aunt May mentions in Spider-Man 2 that she used to give piano lessons.
Oh, but I'm giving piano lessons again.
The moment when Peter removes the symbiote suit in a bell tower is an idea taken from the comics. The girl who blackmails Jameson is the daughter of Sam Raimi, the film's director. When Eddie dies in the explosion, in a single frame you can see his skeleton during the flash. At Harry's funeral, we can see Flash Thompson returning, a character we hadn't seen since the first movie, who later went on to become Agent Venom in the comics.